the most meaningful story you can find for the offering, for the brands. Usually stories are authentic, that stories are related to the heritage of the companies. You have to stress maybe some specific skills of the companies, or maybe you have to stress some reference to the founders of the companies, and so on. So the possibility of providing meaningful stories and differentiating the offering of companies is sometimes related to meaningful narratives that you associate to the brands and to the offerings of companies. There is a reference in this slide related to the work of Mark Breitenberg, a scholar coming from the Pasadena College of Art, about the idea that today the audience is composed by men and women that are Homo fabulans, no more Homo sapiens sapiens, but Homo fabulans. That's true. So we live into the stories, and stories feed ourselves and permit us to make sense of the reality, make sense of the past, make sense of the future, of the relationship with the other humans, and so on. So the narratives and storytelling are very important also for companies today, and the task, the important task for designers is finding meaningful stories, associating these stories to the offering of companies. In this sentence of Tim Brown, who is the chief executive officer of one of the most important design studio in the world, IDEO, Palo Alto design studio with many branches in different countries. So Tim Brown says, having satisfied our basic needs, we look for sophisticated experiences. That's a synonym of offerings that move us and have meaning for us. That's something related to the idea of emotional design or wow effect that we have seen with the previous slides. But these experiences, these offerings are a complex, integrated and consistent combination of products, services and informations. So we have to consider when we talk about strategic design how today we make sense of the offerings of company, and the way we make sense is through these complex combinations that we call product system. Product system is the subject of strategic design. You have a definition here of strategic design. You have these three components. That's a way to synthesize the different components of the offering of companies that we call products, promotions, and services. Every time you want to start with a new story, with a new narrative, with a new meaningful narrative, you have to consider all these three components. You have to guarantee the consistency among the products, the way you promote the products, the way you add services in order to make the products more valuable for the market, the way you design the display of the products, the way you design the packaging, the way you design some customer service, the way you establish a link, a durable link with the customers that appreciated the offering of the companies. When you do this, you can show the strategy of the company. As designers, when we try to assess the consistency of the offering of companies, we need to analyze their products, the portfolio of products, their catalog. We need to understand if these products are consistent among them. We need to understand how the company promotes these products. We need to know which kind of services they add to these products. We need to know which kind of distribution channels the managers choose for this product. So every time we start a new project for a company, this is the first task, a kind of auditing, understanding through these touch points how the strategy of the company is expressed. So we know that strategy design it's a way to understand this complex combination of product, services, and promotion information. And so we can say that it's a systemic view. It's not just focused in a vertical way on a specific task, so making information in graphics, making just services, or making just products, but you have to consider all these components. And you have to train the elasticity of your mind, because you have to consider at different scales the offering of companies. So we used to say that strategic design is not just a set of tools and methodologies, but strategic design is a mindset. And in this mindset you have to act changing the scale you face design problems. I'm used to say that you have to use a kind of zooming approach, zoom in, zoom out, every time you face some new design problems. That's a way to consider all the characteristics of the offering of companies. So coming back to the idea of commodification, so the fact that the offerings of companies usually is undifferentiated, we have this scheme extracted from the work of Pine and Gilmore, the two scholars that invented the idea of experience economy, and in a way also the idea of experience design related to this idea of experience economy. You have this scheme with two axes. The horizontal one is the timeline, the vertical one is related to the competitive position of the companies, of the offerings of the companies. And usually you start extracting commodities, then you add some value to these commodities through the intelligence of humans and through the work of humans and through the use of utensils, equipment, and so on. So you make products. But the problem is that you do this, but instantaneously sometimes these products become undifferentiated. Why? Because other competitors do the same. Other competitors, they do the same that you have done. So you have to differentiate, associating to the offerings something different. But let me tell you a case, a specific case. The showcase is the best way to tell about this, the evolution of the offering of companies. We can refer to a coffee bean. A coffee bean usually is a raw vegetable. You can extract this vegetable from the nature, but the vegetable, as you extract heat from the nature, has no sense. You have to roast it if you want to propose a coffee bean good for making coffee. So the first competitor has this intuition, start